Hey friends, so I was on Twitter earlier and I saw something that I want to talk about. So Tony Hawk, he is one of the most famous skateboarders in the world, and I think most people who aren't familiar with skateboarding itself might know him from the game Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 and 3, 4 maybe, I don't know, but um, there's this ongoing joke on Twitter that Tony Hawk himself has kind of perpetuated, which is that people don't usually recognize him. So when he is, I think at like the airport or something, and people see his name, I think his name is the name on his his official name is like Anthony Hawk, I think, and a common joke is that talk to him and they sort of say, "Ooh, Hawk, like Tony Hawk. I wonder what he's doing now." And then he says, "This, I'm doing this." And part of it's funny because you probably he doesn't have a super distinctive face. He's kind of an average looking, and now he's in his 50s, I think, or late 40s, and if he's not wearing his skateboard get up and carrying his skateboard and wearing the helmet and elbow pads and stuff, like it's easy to not recognize him. But anyway, so Tony Hawk periodically tweets about these funny examples of people not recognizing him. And, there's this meme that's like Tony Hawk's existential nightmare with a picture of him looking kind of tired, and it's in the style of the game, and it's got all these quotes. And just today, or yesterday, recently, Tony Hawk tweeted that he was on a plane and three different people recognized him, but they joked that they didn't. They were like, "Hey, you look like Tony Hawk." And this is an amazing example of something I really want to get into and something I've been meaning to talk about, which is that, he has basically memed the joke into something that extends beyond himself into the world. Like people who know Tony Hawk and follow him on Twitter, which is a lot of people, now they have it in mind that if they see Tony Hawk, they should joke that they don't recognize him because they want to contribute to that joke. And so I'm joking that this is Tony Hawk's word magic. And what I mean by word magic is that when you use words, right, and in this case in tweets even, right, to set up a kind of how do you want to describe it? A vector that people can join and align with, or a kind of, it's like a group project that people can contribute to, and people love to contribute to things that are easy to contribute to. That's a very powerful thing. And I quote tweeted that and said, I'm gonna get serious and solemn about this, like weirdly so, that this is what I mean when I say we are always teaching other people how we want to be treated. And in that regard, we end up designing the life that we want. I mean, it might not be what you really want, but it's what you want at some level. You wanted it, it's like definitions are murky here because what you say you want and what you reveal you want are different based on your revealed preferences or what you do, right? If you don't want the thing, why are you doing the thing that gets you that outcome repeatedly? Right? And I'm sure Tony's just having a bunch of fun, and he doesn't really mind that people have contributed to this joke. Or you could say that at some level he must enjoy the joke, and he is encouraging it. He has already encouraged it, and so now it's going to be a thing until the end of his days, right? And it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen when he dies. I don't mean that in a cruel way, but it's just and in this case it's kind of a superficial, silly, funny example that doesn't really, it doesn't, it's not like it's not a big deal, right? But it's a potent example of how we can do this, and I want to make the case that we are always doing this to some degree. We are always teaching other people how we want to be interacted with, and we are influencing the way that people treat us. And I know I don't want to make this like victim blaming and suggesting that, oh, if something terrible happened to you it's because you were asking for it. No, I don't mean that. Although, and I gotta be very, very careful with this because it's dangerous stuff. All of this stuff is very volatile, very powerful, very if you want to get into this stuff, you have to be kind of, it takes a certain mindset, I think, or a certain disposition. Like it I don't think most people are ready to really kind of get into what this entails. And yeah, there's a lot of ways in which if you approach this not carefully, it could fuck you up in some ways. So, that's kind of my warning. If you feel like you're not ready for this kind of thing, you should stop watching the video and don't. All right, but so I don't want to blame people for bad things that happen to them, or overly credit people for good things that happen to them. It's like blame and fault. All of these concepts, they're very I want to say nebulous and very social. Like it's the reality of it is more complex than how we typically frame it. And but yeah, if you I keep returning to this, and I feel like I shouldn't say it, but like it's the thing that's coming to me, which is that predators do pick their victims. It's horrible, and it's I wish that they didn't exist, and I wish this wasn't a problem that people had to deal with, and I wish I don't want anybody to feel bad, to feel like they are to blame for what bad things happened to them. But predators do pick their victims. They and not all of them, right? So maybe like I don't know, maybe half of them kind of just do whatever horrible shit they want to do without thinking about it. But there's a subset of predators who they scan the periphery for their prey, and they pick whoever they think is likely to be good prey, right? And again, I don't want to imply that if something bad happened to you, it's your fault, or it's you should feel bad, or like any of those things. It's more of like, how can you adjust your disposition, your utterances, your vibe in such a way that conveys that you shouldn't be fucked with. That's a thing that can be done. And I'm not saying that that's a defense against bad people doing bad things, and that if you do it, bad things will never happen to you, and that you will be safe, or that you should then become preachy and judgy towards people who have bad things happen to them. No, like, it's a very, very nuanced thing, and it doesn't diminish the need for justice and the need for correcting our social issues and all those things, right? You get what I'm saying? It's very, yeah. So I mean, okay, let's not talk about negative stuff. Let's talk about like rewards, right? Just as there are signals, so there are signals that a person can give off, that when somebody else sees it, they think this person should be given more opportunities. This person should be given more given an audience. This person should be given, I can say that when I'm on Twitter, right, I have an audience of like 27,000 people. It's not huge, but it's not tiny. And sometimes I see a tweet from somebody, and I want to quote tweet it or retweet it, but I get the sense that they would not want that. They would not want attention. They wouldn't want to have their tweet put in front of 27,000 people. And if I sense that, then I'm less likely to retweet it or quote tweet it. And I can't exactly put my finger on what is it that is about a person that tells me what they want. But like, I have a sense, and my sense might not be correct, but it's a sense. And similarly, sometimes I meet people and I just know that, oh, this person would love to have their thoughts kind of shared with a broad audience. And when I get that vibe from them, I'm likelier to quote tweet and retweet and stuff like that. And when you kind of extrapolate from that, and you think about how every person and again, you can't guarantee that every single person you interact with is going to read your utterances the same way. Like the range of ways in which people can interpret your utterances are like night and day, right? Like, some people will think you're too arrogant, some people will think you're too humble, some people will think, like, there's the full range of possible interpretations of whatever it is that you're putting out. But it can be influenced, and you can set yourself up for success, or you can set yourself up for failure. That doesn't mean that that's the reason you succeed or the reason that you fail, right? I gotta keep reiterating this because it's nuanced. But it's like, if you play a video game, sometimes you have like, you put on a ring in a video game, and it's like plus 3% to luck, right? And that doesn't mean that you're gonna get lucky tomorrow. But as you collect these plus 3% to luck here, plus 4% to something else there, like, it adds up. And then as you play more and more rounds, you get more, and like it's like tilting the playing field in your favor. That can be done. And you know, you might want to do that while everything else in your life is tilting it against your favor. You know, you might be a racial minority, you might be, you know, like your gender might be holding you back. You know, like, there's all kinds of things that could be holding you back. And I do not mean to dismiss or deny any of that. It's just that, you know, the hand you are dealt is the hand you are dealt, and the variables you can control are the variables you can control. And it's possible to be mindful about influencing the variables that you want to influence in your favor. And what does in your favor mean? You have to define for yourself what is the outcome that you want. You know, like how big of an audience do you want? And you know, what kind of compromises are you willing to make in pursuit of that audience? You know, I have a marketing background, and I know what it takes to kind of get tons and tons of traffic to my blog or to my site. Like I did that professionally before. But I don't want a huge audience. I want a smart audience. I want a thoughtful audience. You know, I want people who like aren't too quick to judge, or you know, are willing to give me the benefit of the doubt. Like that's what I'm optimizing for, which is why I make, you know, these like long rambly videos, and it's not very high production quality, and I try not to let my titles be too controversial, because this is iffy stuff. And yeah, I'm just trying to make the case. I'm trying to clarify for people that this is something that can be influenced, and it's highly likely that you've already done it. You know, it's unlikely that you haven't done it. So it's very likely that you have already shaped your life in a way that, you know, discourages a certain kind of person from interacting with you, encourages a certain kind of person from interacting with you, you know. And like it's very, very subtle. It's you know, it's other people's kind of snap judgments about whether or not to talk to you, whether or not to follow you, whether or not to reply to your stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about that. I will almost definitely follow up on this. I think it's pretty likely that people will misunderstand what I'm saying, and I, you know, not just misunderstand what I'm saying. It's likely that I haven't expressed these ideas in the best possible light. I'm just trying to get it out first. And yeah, it's very powerful stuff. And a sentence I typed out earlier, I'm not sure if I actually tweeted it. No, I typed it out, and I decided that it's better in a video than on text. Is that, you know, when you have like true narrative alignment, when you really know what you really want, and you've articulated that vision for yourself, callback. Yeah, when you have true alignment with yourself about what you want, and it's not just like you're consciously saying I want to be rich, right? You have to believe it in some true deep felt sense. Then you've got to dig into your model. So let's say you want to be rich, like why and how, and what is the deal that you're willing to make with the universe to become rich, assuming that's your priority, right? What are you going to become rich for? Like, you know, you can't create something out of nothing. There's always an act of exchange, there's always an interaction, and you have to have an idea of what kind of interaction you want before you get it. I remember when I was a teenager, I used to insist that I will one day work for someone who says they respect me, and that I'm working with them rather than for them. All my friends told me I was stupid, or, you know, arrogant or whatever, but like it happened. And you know, did I get lucky? Yeah, I got lucky. You know, and I'm not talking about, you can't guarantee that things will happen, but again, you can set things up in a way that make it likelier to occur. And then, you know, if you blog, for example, or you make YouTube videos and all that, you kind of it's like making a spider web and allowing the flies to fly into it. You know, it's like it these things, blog posts, YouTube videos, you know, the impression you make on other people, these things are things beyond yourself, outside in the world, that are now kind of helping you. Like they will redirect the things that you want towards you. So people now know that, you know, I'm a guy that talks all the time about golden ages and talks about scenes and such things. And so if one of my friends or acquaintances who likes my work, they encounter someone in the wild who is relevant to my interests, it's in their interest to direct that person to me, right? So is that luck? You know, there is some amount of chance involved, but it's not luck. I mean, it's a kind of luck that I have engineered, and you can engineer that kind of luck through word magic, by thinking out loud about what you want, and by speaking into reality the things that you want. And it's not a guarantee. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Like, do you get it? It's not like a vending machine where you state the belief and you press the button and then you get the outcome that you ask for. It's not that straightforward. It's about intention and belief, and the phrase that came to me earlier that I wanted to tweet but didn't is that imagine competing with someone who trains in their sleep. Like, because when their intention is aligned with and their belief is aligned, and they have a strong, clear idea about what they want and why they want it and what they're gonna do to get it and why they deserve it and why the world needs it, like you have all of those things in alignment, then like your subconscious will be working on it when you're not thinking about it. And like you will be, sometimes you will even dream the solutions to your problems, right? Or you'll dream ideas for blog posts or YouTube videos or whatever. You'll dream stuff. And how are you going to compete with someone who's working in their dreams? And I'm not, this isn't like a hustle and rise and grind, kind of work 24/7 kind of mindset. Like, I don't like that. And I think that's kind of that's not realistic. It's not realistic. It's not how amazing things happen anyway. It's like that's a kind of performance cult. It's a kind of like it's a cargo cult in a sense. It's like the sense of, if I work really, really hard, then I'll get what I want, which is sometimes true for some things, but I don't think the world works that way exactly. But I'm open to what you guys think. Tell me if you think I'm being crazy. Tell me if something in there resonated with you. Tell me if something that I said bothered you. I hope it didn't. And done. Hang out. Let's hang out. Cheers. Bye bye.